At 84, Ann-Margret stands as one of Hollywood's most enduring and beloved figures, her story beginning far from fame in the snowy village of Valsjöben, Sweden, where she was born Ann-Margret Olsen on April 28, 1941. Her early childhood was simple, grounded in modest routines and family closeness, a world untouched by celebrity. At the age of 5, she and her mother immigrated to the United States, reuniting with her father in the Chicago area. Adjusting to a new language and culture, she adapted quickly, revealing an instinctive gift for performance. Music, movement, and expression came naturally, even before she understood their power. At Northwestern University, her talents sharpened, and it became clear she possessed something rare. This quiet beginning, shaped by resilience and adaptability, would later inform her grounded approach to fame, even as the world around her grew louder. Rising stardom and the birth of an icon. Ann-Margret's ascent in the early 1960s felt electric and inevitable. Discovered by George Burns, she was introduced to audiences through Las Vegas performances that showcased her unique blend of charisma, vocal power, and fearless energy. Hollywood soon followed, and her film debut in Pocketful of Miracles opened the door to what would become a transformative era. Her breakout role in Bye Bye Birdie in 1963 made her an overnight sensation, capturing the spirit of youth and rebellion with irresistible charm. That same year, her recording career gained momentum, further establishing her as a multi-dimensional performer. Studios quickly paired her with Hollywood legends, recognizing that her appeal transcended novelty. While she was initially framed as a vibrant sex symbol, Ann-Margret never accepted limitations. She understood her worth went beyond image, and she quietly prepared to prove it. Redefining herself beyond expectations. Rather than settle into an easy mold, Ann-Margret pushed against expectations with determination and courage. Her performances in Carnal Knowledge and Tommy marked a turning point, revealing emotional depth and artistic risk few anticipated. These roles demanded vulnerability and intensity, and she delivered both without hesitation. Critical acclaim followed, along with Academy Award nominations that solidified her credibility as a serious actress. She refused to be defined by era or stereotype, choosing projects that challenged her emotionally and creatively. Over time, audiences began to see her not just as a dazzling presence, but as a thoughtful interpreter of complex human experiences. Her willingness to evolve ensured longevity in an industry that often sidelines women with age. Each reinvention reflected her belief that artistry should grow with life, not resisted. Grace across generations of film and television. As decades passed, Ann-Margret continued to surprise audiences with her versatility. From heartfelt television films to sharp comedic roles in Grumpy Old Men, and its sequel, she demonstrated impeccable timing and warmth that resonated across generations. Even in supporting roles, her presence carried weight, adding emotional texture to every scene. Projects like Any Given Sunday and Going in Style showed her ability to navigate modern storytelling without losing her classic appeal. She embraced change rather than retreating from it, choosing roles that reflected authenticity over vanity. Critics and viewers alike noted that her performances carried a lived-in wisdom, shaped by decades of experience. Her longevity was never accidental. It was earned through curiosity, discipline, and a deep respect for storytelling, a marriage rooted in loyalty and partnership. Ann-Margret's most enduring relationship was her marriage to actor Roger Smith, a partnership built on trust, loyalty, and mutual devotion. After stepping away from acting, Smith became her manager, guiding her career with care and protecting her creative autonomy. Together, they navigated Hollywood as equals, balancing ambition with private commitment. Their marriage lasted 50 years, an extraordinary achievement in an industry known for impermanence. When Smith faced a long battle with a debilitating illness, Ann-Margret stood firmly beside him, prioritizing love over career momentum. Her devotion never wavered, reflecting values rooted deeply in empathy and responsibility. She often described their bond as a source of grounding strength, a place of safety amid the unpredictable currents of fame. Their relationship remains one of quiet dignity rather than spectacle, an adventurous spirit. Beyond the screen, beyond acting and music, Ann-Margret cultivated a reputation for bold independence, particularly through her passion for motorcycles. At a time when few women embraced such pursuits publicly, she rode confidently, incorporating her love of speed and freedom into her performances and public image. Her association with Triumph motorcycles became iconic, symbolizing rebellion balanced with elegance. Even after a serious accident in 2000 that resulted in significant injuries, she refused to let fear define her narrative. Recovery was difficult, but her resilience prevailed. This adventurous spirit mirrored her approach to life itself, embracing risk not recklessly but wholeheartedly. Whether on stage, screen, or open road, she lived with intensity and purpose, always guided by an inner sense of courage rather than expectation. Elvis Presley and a moment that endured. Among the many chapters of Ann-Margret's life, her connection with Elvis Presley remains the most mythologized. Their relationship began during the filming of Viva Las Vegas, where chemistry unfolded naturally between two artists, sharing immense pressure and passion for music. At the time, both were navigating fame that isolated as much as it elevated. Decades later, Ann-Margret speaks not with drama, but with clarity. She describes Elvis as kind, generous, and deeply human behind the image. Their bond, she explains, was real, yet constrained by circumstances beyond their control. There was affection, laughter, and mutual understanding, but also boundaries she respected. Her silence over the years was intentional, rooted in respect rather than secrecy. What she shares now is not revelation but remembrance, offered without bitterness, speaking with grace at 84. Now at 84, Ann-Margret reflects with a sense of peace earned through time. When she speaks of Elvis, it is with warmth, not longing, and gratitude rather than regret. She recalls gestures of kindness, quiet support, and a shared understanding of fame's cost. The flowers he sent long after their romance ended were symbols of respect, not rekindling. In telling her story now, she reframes the narrative, removing scandal and restoring humanity. Her truth is gentle and complete, shaped by decades of perspective. She speaks not to rewrite history, but to soften it, reminding audiences that love can exist without possession and memory without resentment. Her voice carries wisdom, offering closure not just for herself, but for those who cherished that era, a legacy written in restraint and heart. Ann-Margret's legacy is not defined by headlines, but by consistency, resilience, and grace. Across generations, she has remained authentic, refusing to exploit her past or sensationalize her experiences. Her story reflects the power of restraint, of choosing dignity over noise. From a Swedish village to Hollywood's brightest stages, she lived fully without surrendering herself to myth. At 84, her truth feels less like a confession and more like a benediction, honoring the people who shaped her journey without diminishing herself. She leaves behind not just performances, but an example of how to age with integrity in an industry that rarely allows it. Her story endures because it was lived honestly, spoken softly, and remembered with love.